First there was Apple, then there was Apple in China, and then there's China plus one with India. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. This is Pradeep and you're watching Vlog of Note. In this video, I thought we'd talk about Narendra Modi's plan to make iPhones in India cheaper. Let's get started. So first of all, the fact of the matter is that iPhones are really expensive in India. While India is in the dubious distinction of having the most expensive iPhones in the world, we are definitely in the top 3 along with Turkey, Brazil, and then us. So even though iPhones are manufactured in India to a large extent now, why are they still expensive? Well, first of all, we have 18% GST. We have something called the Goods and Services Tax in India, which makes the iPhones straight away 18% more expensive. Then we have 20% import duty. You see, while iPhones are assembled in India, their PCB, which is sort of the brain, is actually brought into this country from other parts of the world. And finally, you have the dealer network. You have a whole network of dealers and distributors who have to have their cut, and therefore the iPhone is really expensive in India. For most Indian consumers, the only time when they can actually buy an iPhone is about 11 months after the launch of the iPhone. A lot of people are talking about the fact that the iPhone 14 is already being manufactured in India. But if you want to buy the iPhone 14, the regular iPhone, not the Plus, not the Pro, not the Pro Max, then you have to wait till next year, August of 2023, when Flipkart, Amazon and other e-commerce companies have their annual Independence Day sale. This fact really frustrates me, so I thought in this video we take a look at how Apple went to China, why Apple is now exploring a China plus one strategy, and how it relates to India. Before we get into the video though, I would really appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up. You see, I'm trying to buy my own iPhone. Let's jump into the video. For the first part of this video, let's talk about how Apple got to China. Now, in the beginning, there was Steve Jobs. Yes, that Steve Jobs. He had a dream to manufacture the Macintosh, that's Apple's computer, in America. He set up this really fancy, huge factory, a lot of automations, typical Steve Jobs. All of the walls were painted in white, the machines were bright colors and they immediately stopped working, and the floor was so clean that you could eat off it. Steve Jobs' vision was to make a Macintosh computer every 13 seconds. What happened to this plan? Well, Tim Cook, the then COO or Chief Operating Officer of Apple, basically saw the other computer companies like Dell, HP and Compaq. That was a computer company for those of you too young to remember it. All of these companies were moving their manufacturing over to China because of the immense scale, the cost of materials and the cost of people. Much later in an interview, Tim Cook basically said that you could have all of the people in America who could work on tools and dies in a single room. However, in China, it would be several football fields. So anyway, Tim Cook decided to move Apple to China in terms of manufacturing. And what did China do? China, for its part, pulled out all of the stops. Nowhere is this clearer than in a 2019 article by The Times in which they did an investigation into what they called iPhone City. It's an actual place in China. It's an entire city basically brought out of the ground in order to manufacture iPhones. Now this city has over 6 million people, and in this city, Foxconn, who is Apple's largest contractor, basically manufactures half of the iPhones which are made in China, and China manufactures 98% of all iPhones in the world. In the second part of this video, let's look into what actually went wrong with this relationship. Why are we at a China plus one strategy? In a word, COVID. Now, China has a zero COVID tolerance policy. Basically, if they discover one COVID case, they will shut down the entire city. And as per some estimates, last quarter, this zero COVID policy could cost Apple up to $8 billion. Now, Apple obviously is a super large company, but I don't care who you are. $8 billion is a lot of money. Another problem took the form of Donald Trump and the 2016 elections. One of his major drives was an anti-China policy, geopolitical tensions, and tariffs. Indeed, he said that he's going to force Apple to build their damn computers and things in America. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you about supply chain problems. Apple has been racked by supply chain problems and chip shortages just like everyone else. Basically, there was a lockdown. All of these companies tried to cancel their orders. Then people started to order a lot of stuff. The orders started to come. Then companies started to have recession fears and they tried to cancel their orders again. It was a vicious cycle. In the third part of this video, let's look at how China's loss could be India's gain in the form of a modified iPhone in India policy. Now, iPhone in India. Basically, in 2020, Narendra Modi, India's Prime Minister and probably the world's second richest man, had a plan. He had a plan to get Apple's contract manufacturers like Foxconn, Wistron and Pegatron to manufacture in India. The plan to a large extent has succeeded. Here are two statistics to show you why. In India, we have now $2.5 billion run rate in terms of iPhone exports, which is over double what it was just 1 year previously. Also, according to JP Morgan, by 2025, 1/4 of all of the iPhones in the world are going to be manufactured in India. Not bad for a country that just started manufacturing iPhones in 2017. However, it's not all roses and fun and games. We do have a problem, and that's components. Over 45% of all of the components required for an iPhone are actually imported at this point of time. And until we fix that problem, we're not going to go anywhere meaningful when it comes to iPhones. All in all, I think Modi has done a great job in trying to get iPhones manufactured in India, or at least assembled in India. And hopefully over the next couple of years, we will see iPhone prices start to tick down in India. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. I take a lot of effort, a lot of research goes into it. As always, please go over to YouTube, subscribe to the Vlog of Note channel, ring that notification bell so that you never miss a video, and I will see you guys in the next episode.